Hey, I'm Jackson360, and this video is going to be about Bitcoin. It's really for beginners who don't understand what Bitcoin is and trying to get a better idea of how it works, why is it important. And so I'm going to kind of rant in this video. So I might be all over the place, but I'm just trying. This is for the person that's just kind of figure it out and get their head wrapped around it. So let me tell you about Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is it's like taking your paper money and you're making it digital. So instead of putting your money in your wallet, you can now convert it and turn it into a digital currency. Now once it turns digital, at any point in time you can make it turn back into a dollar or any currency for that matter. You can exchange it for. But what's important, this is a global currency. So once you turn it digital, it's like putting your money into a vending machine, and now that money has just turned into the internet, right? It's the internet of money. So now you can be able to now that it's Bitcoin, you can now be able to send money and receive money globally. I mean, anywhere across the globe where there's an internet signal, you can send money or receive it globally, okay? And now this is powerful because there's no company that owns it. There's no company that can control it. Some people say, is it like stocks? No, it's not like stocks because it's more like gold, right? Because there's no company that owns all of your gold. There's no company that owns the internet. There's no company that owns Bitcoin. And the government, is very difficult for them to control it and regulate it because of the way that the technology is set up. And I'll talk a little bit more about the technology, but it's very difficult for the governments to tax it. So the governments, they don't own it. You're going to see more governments and more companies try to create their own coins in the future. But Bitcoin is the originator. So Bitcoin is the one that's going up in value because many times you have to use the Bitcoin technology in order to get these other coins. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. I want you to really get an understanding when it comes to Bitcoin that think of it like, okay, so before I get into the technical side of it, I want to just let you know number-wise why it's really good for you to get Bitcoin as soon as possible. So Bitcoin now, if you look at what I'm looking at, so as of today, it's at about $5,600, almost $5,700. So if we're looking at it today, it looks, for some people it looks really expensive. Depending on when you watch this, Bitcoin might be at $10,000, $20,000, or $100,000. I don't know. Many experts are believing that it may get to well over $100,000 soon or one day. But anyway, let's look at some history. So if you go to this website, this is coinmarketcap.com. If you go here, you'll be able to see that there's over 1,000 other currencies that have been created. Now, all these other current coins came from the Bitcoin technology. They're either trying to be like Bitcoin or they're doing something else with the technology because this technology is more than just a currency. See, Bitcoin is a product, it's a service, but it's also a store of wealth. And I'll try to break down all of that in this video. But so when you come to coinmarket.com, you're able to see all of the other coins that people are creating. And you can also see the history of the market. So we'll look here. You'll see at Bitcoin, you see that number. I don't know if y'all can see. That's the market cap. Let's make sure that this is shown. So the market cap for Bitcoin is now, you see, is almost at $100 billion. So this is basically about how much money people are circulating in Bitcoin across the globe as of today. Now, $100 million may seem like a lot, but and if you really look at it compared to other markets, it's really not a lot of money. When we look at the United States, debt alone is over, let's say, like $20 trillion. So if we look at 100 billion compared to over 20 to 100 trillion, this is very small compared to how big this thing can be, especially knowing that this is a global currency, not just one state, not just one country. This is global. So, this market is still very small. This market is still we're talking about less than 1% of people are using it. But I want to show y'all the history. So this is a great website to come just to see the history. And I want to just illustrate a point, because some people, they think, well, I'll just wait and research and wait and figure it out. But the longer you wait, you'll be mad at yourself. And I'm going to show you why. Okay, so if you go to Bitcoin, Bitcoin at one point was worth, at one point in 2009, I believe it was about a penny per coin. In fact, it was probably a little bit cheaper than that if we're going to be really accurate. So if we look at today, they'll show you the history. So if we go all the way back, we go back years. It shows you years. We can go back years here. Okay, this goes back 2013. I want to go back further than that. We can go back to 2009. Let's look at 2009. Let's look at those old numbers. I don't even know if they're going to show it on the market cap. And I want to illustrate something to you all here. I don't even know how to do this and make this thing go back that far. So what happens is, at one point, I want you to imagine when Bitcoin was at, I don't think coin market cap goes back to 2009, but we'll try to go back as far as we can. All right, so I want to put up the calculator for a minute. So imagine, all right, so it's showing us some old data here. So we can look you see, okay, Bitcoin was at $141 in 2013. In fact, it was at $87. Can you imagine if you bought it at $87? Now I want to show you a quick illustration, a quick example. Okay, and this is for the people that are saying to themselves, they really just want to wait to see what happens. All right, let's do some math really quick. So imagine when Bitcoin was just 1 penny. So if you had $200 and you were to buy Bitcoin then at $200 and you got it at a penny, that's 0.01. That means you will have 20,000 Bitcoin. If you had $200 would have got you 20,000 Bitcoins when it was worth a penny per coin. All right, does that make sense? So if you had those 20,000 coins, let's clear that out. Today the price is at $6,000. So if we did 6,000, well, no, it's not. It's actually at 5,600. But we're going to round it up to 6,000 just to keep our numbers round. Okay, we're not going to be super technical, but we're going to say 6,000, even though it's like 5,600. So if we had $6,000 times your 20,000 coins, that means you would have $120 million. Hold on, a $200 investment could have got you $120 million return. Okay. Now, I want to say this before I even go further. I am not a financial advisor. I am not licensed to give people financial advice. I'm just talking about kind of the history of Bitcoin. But you're going to do what you're going to do. I'm going to tell you, if you do it, just know that it's risky. It goes up and down. But do it on your own risk. But I'm just telling you that because I want to legally, I'm not a financial advisor. Okay? I'm just talking about what I've seen and what's going on. All right. So with Bitcoin, we're talking about $120 million if someone hit a $200 investment when it was at a penny. All right, now let's imagine a few months went past and now Bitcoin is no longer a penny. Because you're this type of person, you say, you know what, I'm going to wait and see if the price goes up or see if the price comes back down. I'm going to wait a little while. Let me research. Okay, do your research, which I encourage people to do. But I want you to understand something. Let's say the price went up to now it's 10 cents. So it was a penny, but now it's 10 cents. So if you had that same $200 and you divide it by 0.10, you had 2,000 Bitcoins. So let's get your 2,000 Bitcoins. And today, if you multiply that times the $6,000, we're using an example, that's actually $12 million. Okay. So there's a big difference between, remember, both situations you had a $200 investment. The only thing that's different is the amount of time that you waited before you got it. You could have got it at a penny and had $120 million, or you would have got it at 10 cents, which is still cheap, and you would have got $12 million. So it's a big difference, $120 million versus 12 million. I just want you to show how big, when you wait longer, how much of a big financial difference that could be. 120 million versus 12 million. They're worth a lot, but almost each day you wait is almost worth hundreds of millions of dollars. It was a $200 investment on both cases. So again, I'm not trying to. Now, some people that really study Bitcoin, people that you can learn from, are people like Andreas Antonopoulos, who's a great expert at Bitcoin. They will be quick to tell you that don't look at Bitcoin strictly as a financial get rich quick scheme and investment, because you shouldn't. I agree with that. You don't look at it like that, because it is much more than that. However, the reality is there is a lot of potential money that is being made. All right. But I'm going to encourage people, if you're doing it, don't do it like trying to, with the intention of not researching it. You need to be doing your own research. You need to be learning about it, because this is still your money and it's risking. And I would say don't put up any money that you wouldn't be willing to lose, because you might lose it all. Because I'll be honest with you, you might be trying to make a transaction and you can put the information in wrong, and then the money gets sent to the wrong place. So there's people who've lost a lot of money. Then there's risk that you can take where if you're not securing your wallet, you forget one of your private keys, you can lose lose your money. There's people that have had 10,000 Bitcoins on their computer and they threw away the computer. There's people that maybe lock themselves out of their computer or lock themselves out of their passwords. So there's a lot of ways where you can lose all of your money. So I'm not trying to make it seem like this is just totally sweet. But the potential that's here is amazing. There's amazing potential here. So I would encourage people, if you're getting you some Bitcoin, get it and save it. Like, just hold on to it. Hold on to your Bitcoin. Okay, hold on to this. And make it like a long-term investment. Long-term, I'm saying hold on for 2 to 5 years. Especially if you don't have a lot of real estate or gold or silver, hold on to it, because money is changing. The way we view money is going to be dramatically changed. Now, one other thing I want to show you really quick is, because I'm going to keep talking, but I want to show you a class that I actually host, and that is on the Business Bootcamp. Us. On that Business Bootcamp is where you can learn more about the cryptocurrency classes that I provide, and it's a lot of information there. But you would just go to the businessbootcamp.us. You can look through the programs and you'll see the Bitcoin cryptocurrency class, and then on there you can be able to sign up. Today is fairly low cost. I think it's like $29. So with that, you'll learn a lot of different things. And we're going to be adding to this class, okay? But that's a great way, because it's a lot of information on it. To be honest with you, you can learn a lot actually just by being on YouTube or getting the books and stuff the book that I have about cryptocurrency, or there's other people who have programs. But the challenge sometimes with that is there's so much information it can be hard to find. You don't know who's always telling legitimate information. But what I find is if you like the certain individual, and you want all your information in one place and easy, and you want it from somebody who really knows because they've done it, then enroll in my class and my course. Okay. All right. So with that being said, let's get back to the talk. I just had to put that out there. Bitcoin, I want you to really just keep in mind that, imagine if not only you own you some Bitcoin, but if you got family and friends that have it, because eventually they will, it's going to be able to affect your life in different ways. So keep in mind that Bitcoin is a product, it's a service, and it's a store of wealth. Okay. So what I mean by that is, not only can you just hold on to it, but you can actually spend it. It's currency itself. It is currency. It's like getting your paper money and making it digital. You can use it to buy products. You can go to Amazon and go to most major websites. Most sites, I know sites that sell gold that would accept Bitcoin for the gold, right? So you can go and actually buy items. If you're a business owner, guess what? You can accept Bitcoin. You can accept it. You can set that up where you set up your Bitcoin wallet, and you can just tell people like, hey, here's my Bitcoin address. Because what happens is when you get digital currency, you're going to have two addresses. There's a private key and a public key. Your private key is going to be like, this is your actual keyword. You don't get it to anybody. This is like your access code. The public key is kind of like your address. Think of it like a mailbox. So people send money to that mailbox, but your private key is how you enter that mailbox, and you're going to need it to send money. Okay, so you're going to send people your public address. Say, okay, this is where you send the money. And so if you're, let's say, a barber, a hairstylist, or a business person, you can tell people like, hey, you can come to my store. You can buy stuff in Bitcoin. Here's our public address, and this is how much it's going to cost. You know, you can say, all right, it's $10, but you can convert that $10 in Bitcoin today. It's going to be calculated into this amount, and send the money over, and people can pay you in Bitcoin, and you receive it directly into your Bitcoin wallet. So it's just that simple, and then you can be able to transfer money across the globe. So that's powerful. Think about the possibilities of now if you have a family member that's in another country and they need money, and you want to send them $5 or $500,000 instantly. I don't know if you ever tried to send a large amount of money, but it could be very difficult when you're working with a bank to send large amounts of money to different countries. It could be a pain in the ass, especially if they need their money that same day. Very difficult. Then that's why you have the Western Unions or the MoneyGrams, that type of stuff. But with those, you might have high fees, and they might put you on, this is red tape that comes with that. Bitcoin now allows people to send that money. And now once they receive the Bitcoin, they can spend the Bitcoin like it's currency, or they can convert that Bitcoin into whatever the currency is that's in their country, and they just convert it. Okay, so it's really these type of things that are happening already, and because I want you to look, y'all see this market cap here. See, it's almost $100 billion involved. So what happens is the price. I want you to be aware the price goes up and down every day. Almost every second, the price goes up and down. So you might see it be 5,600 right now, but then by the end of the day, it might be 6,000, or it may be 5,500, it might be 5,000. But those prices go up and down because it's a global currency, and people are putting money in and out, making large transactions, and it's still a small market because there's only 1% of the world using it. So when you see these big shifts happen, it affects the price. Think of it like a boat, right? If you have a boat, if it's a small boat, a small container, a small boat, but you get a lot of people, getting on it. Sometimes even if it's just one or two people getting on and off this small boat, you can feel the boat rock. It's easy to feel the momentum, even though because it's only a small boat with a small amount of people. But when you increase the size of that boat, you make it a huge ship. When it's a huge ship and you got people coming on and coming off, you can't feel one or two people coming on and off because it's a huge ship. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's what Bitcoin is like, because it's only it's only 1% of the world using it. When you have, you can feel the price going up and down easily, but the more people that use it, the less you will see the volatility. Now that part is the theory that I have. I don't know if that's confirmed, but to me that's what I'm saying. But don't quote on me on that. But I think that's why the price goes up and down so much. That's why it's so volatile. So I believe in the future it won't be as volatile, but it is volatile, which is a good thing. It's not always bad. Also keep in mind that there are hundreds, in fact thousands of other coins that exist. You see here there's Ethereum. You see it's Litecoin, Ripple, right? You see all these other coins. Now what's important is these are all technologies. All of these are coins, but they're not always currency. I want to explain that. They're coins, but not currency. So think of it like different ways that people use this technology. So I want to get a little technical for a minute. Let's get a little technical. So what Bitcoin technology has done, it solved some fundamental issues that the internet had. The internet that exists today in 2017, it is an internet that allows people to easily share things for free and easily copy things for free. This is why I can get my music upload it to the internet, and people can easily download it, steal it, take it, do whatever they're going to do with it for free. This is why it's harder for artists to make money. This is why it's easier to bootleg movies because of the digital technology, right? The internet is easier to just copy and just steal stuff, right? This has affected movie industry, music industry, every facet of life. It has affected and taking money away from people. That's why they're trying to figure out how do we make money in movies and music and all of these other facets. If you're a photographer, you know what I mean too. Artists, you all know what I mean. So what Bitcoin has done, it has solved the problem where now you can share a coin, but it cannot be copied. It cannot be duplicated, so it cannot be counterfeited. It is a mathematical equation that was processed. It's taken almost, from what I understand, about sometimes over 1,000 hours of computer-generated energy of solving a mathematical equation, an algorithm, and to produce this Bitcoin. So people, they mine Bitcoins. So it takes computer energy to create a Bitcoin. There's only 21 million of them that can be created based on how the technology was set up. It was set up in 2008. First Bitcoins were created in 2009. And there's only 21 million that will ever be created of specifically Bitcoins. Okay? Now, and then all of those coins, so now you have scarcity, which is good. That's why it goes up in value. There's only a limited amount, okay, that can be produced. And that's going to, and every 4 years, a certain amount are released. So that way all 21 million are not active or available right now in 2017. But every 4 years, they release, like, here's another 4,000 that could be produced. Every another 4 years, here's another certain amount that can be produced. But once it gets to 21 million, it will be cut off. All right. So remember, I was just saying that the technology, it cannot be copied. So once you have a Bitcoin that's created, if I own that coin, and I send it to you, you now have it, but I no longer have it anymore. This is the technology. So that is something that can be used with currency, but keep in mind it can be used with other things as well outside of currency. So you can take the blockchain technology and then apply it to other things. You can take a picture or image and send an image, and then once I send it to you, I don't have it anymore. So imagine how you can take this technology and apply it. So eventually, people are probably going to use this for music, recordings, and other things. So that way, if you buy a copy of it, you just have a copy. You know what I mean? You have the exclusive, right? And it can be shared, but it can't. But once you share it with somebody, you don't have it anymore. So that's part of what makes this technology very unique. Because some people probably ask questions like, well, with Bitcoin, when people don't understand this technology, they're thinking like, why would I make my money digital? They don't realize that it's going up in value because it's so unique. And there's so many other things that you can do with the technology. And that's why you have these other coins. You see, there's hundreds of other coins that exist. Thousands, really. And these other coins, like that you see, Ethereum and Ripple, they're using the technology, but all of them aren't necessarily not currency. They're not all trying to solve the same problem because these other coins are created by companies. See, each coin is going to be unique. So some coin, like Bitcoin, is not a specific company that owns it. These other companies, many of them do have a specific company that owns it. Because what happened is other people now see the Bitcoin technology and they try to duplicate it, but they duplicate it and create other ways they use it. So they can't make another Bitcoin, but they can make something else that's like Bitcoin, but it just won't be Bitcoin, if that makes sense. And so it's almost like you have the internet, and now people are making different websites, and they're going to use their websites in different ways. So now these other coins like Ethereum, Ripple, they're solving different problems. So Ethereum, for example, this coin is really more about people. It's really more about like contracts, like creating contracts between people. For example, a vending machine. When you go to a vending machine, you put money in, and automatically you're going to get something that comes out of that vending machine. That's a contract. That's an agreement. When I put $1 in, a bag of a candy bar is going to come out. Now, you can apply that same technology to other areas of life. You may say, okay, we're going to do a real estate deal. And when we do this deal, when X amount of things are transpires, the contract is going to, the technology is automatically going to release and give you something else. Okay, so this can be applied for so many different areas, whether it be a real estate transaction and it's now public on the ledger and it can be modified, or it can be used in areas where we're communicating with technology, right? Let's keep this in mind. A lot of technology is going to be more automated, right? We're going to have more robots and stuff walking around. So we might be communicating with our computer or communicating like with a electronic whatever, like everything is smart devices, right? So we might be communicating with our phone or another smart device and have a drone or something. And so we might want to set up a contract with the drone or with your car, for example. Your car is a smart car nowadays. So your car, we might have a contract set up where if you want to rent your car out to somebody, they can go on this app and be able to drive your car when you're not using it. And and now you can get paid off of that, all using technology. But there's so many ways. This is a small way that I'm giving you, but I'm just trying to open your mind for the beginner person that's not familiar with this technology to begin to understand how big this is changing. Like when the internet first came out, like in 2001, 2002, people didn't think of how big it would be. They're just thinking, okay, this might be a website. I don't understand. Why do I need an email? What is an email? I don't get it. But then eventually people didn't realize that the internet was going to grow into everything from you being able to be on social media and communicating on your phone and sending out a live broadcast around the world. This phone could be the tool that you use to regulate your weight, your blood pressure, your food, to protect you if you ever in a situation with the police, and you can be able to live stream your wedding or whatever. Like the internet is way bigger than what we would have imagined in 2002, 2003. Bitcoin is the same. This technology is the blockchain technology. And when people talk about blockchain and talk about Bitcoin, honestly, it's really kind of one and the same. You can't have one without the other. But just know that the currency is just the first way people are using this technology. But the world is going to start changing. This technology will be used for so many other things. And I just want you to understand that these coins that exist, all of them will not exist in the future. They'll all probably exist, but they probably all won't be that relevant. But there's some other coins, as you see, that are cheap or low cost, $341 for Ether. Ripple they all have different purposes. Like Ripple, they focuses on banks. They work with the banks, so they help you send bank transactions internationally. Okay, so Bitcoin is kind of getting you away from the bank. Ripple is helping you work with the bank. Okay, but they're both digital versions of currency. Then you have Litecoin. Litecoin it kind of does everything that Bitcoin does, but it's much faster because it uses a different, faster ledger, faster servers. Okay, then you have Dash. This is also a currency, but they're trying to make everything really user-friendly because Bitcoin isn't always that user-friendly. But then you have places like Monero. Monero is all about being covert and anonymous. So this is you sending transactions without anyone knowing who sent what to who. So this is all like, being in the shadows with your money. So all of these have a different purpose on what they're serving, which is why people, they might get Bitcoin because in order to get these other coins, you have to get Bitcoin first. But what happens is people, so the prices of Bitcoin is constantly going up because people want to get all of these other coins that exist right here. So if you want to get any of the action on any of these, you're going to usually get Bitcoin first. So this is why the price of Bitcoin will continue to skyrocket because people just want to take advantage of all of this technology that's here. I'm hoping this is making some sense. But these coins are all going to do different things. Some of these coins focus on video games, on being able to do digital currency for video games. There's certain coins that focus on stuff like gambling and doing gambling. Certain coins focus strictly on whether it be weed, and you making weed transactions, buying cannabis. I mean, it's amazing. You got technologies that focus on things like it's so many. Every technology is a little bit different. Some of them are a lot alike. Some of them focus on servers, like how can you think about it like this. Big blockchain and Bitcoin is basically making everything peer to peer. So it's allowing you and me, the average person, to cut out the middleman. So now we can do stuff with each other that it usually would take a middleman to do. So for example, before, if I wanted to send money to you, I may need a bank, or I may need a PayPal, right? Problem is, I got to pay bank fees, or I need whatever the bank requires, and the bank is looking at my information, bank is watching me, regulating me, right? But now Bitcoin allows you to still send that money directly to your friend, but without having that middleman. The only middleman that you may need is whatever app that you're using to exchange Bitcoin. That may be Coinbase, or BitConnect, or whatever that may be. Or you might you can use a wallet. You have a digital wallet, a hard wallet. You just take it from one wallet and send it to another wallet. So there's no middleman that's involved. That same technology can be applied to other aspects of life and technology. Well, here's an example. Let's say, for example, you have I'm gonna make it like this. Taxi companies is usually like a middleman. If you want to get a ride, you go to the taxi company. Nowadays, you can get a ride from Uber, which is almost like going directly to a person. So we cutting out the middleman, which is the taxi company. So now Uber, it is still a middleman, but they're really more like, they're just the technology that allows you to go directly to an individual person. Does that make sense? Kind of like Airbnb. Instead of you going to the hotel, which is like a middleman, you can go directly to a person, an average person who's not a company, and be able to rent out their space. That makes sense. So it's peer to peer, and this technology is they're making almost everything peer to peer. Another example would be, let's say you got a hard drive, you got an external hard drive. I got a couple of them sitting around. You got, let's say, 10 gigs of space or whatever. Now you can be able to upload to a certain website, and now be able to rent out your space to someone who needs space. They may not have any space, and now you can rent out your space, and now you get paid because now you're renting out your hard drive space. Does that make sense? So now you are peer to peer. You're providing services that normally we couldn't do with each other because we needed a big company to do. Instead of going to Dropbox or going to Apple Cloud or Google Cloud, now you can go to and get cloud space from the people. So this is liberating the people. And they're finding all of these technologies on different ways where the people can work with other people, and we're eliminating certain middlemen and corporations. So it's very, very powerful, y'all. I'm going to end on that because this video, I know I'm going long. I didn't want to go this long, but if you don't have Bitcoin, get it. If you look I'll show you how to start up. I got it on the school. Again, if you go to the businessbootcamp.com or businessbootcamp.us, businessbootcamp.us, I most likely should have a link in the video where you can find the actual class. You can sign up to my class and learn. It's fairly low cost. Also, I will put a link on how you can sign up to join Coinbase, because if you do it through my link, you can be able to get $10 of free Bitcoin once you do your first $100 of Bitcoin. So yeah, y'all, let's move forward. If you want to support in any other way, just subscribe to the channel, share the videos, and please be free to support with some of the other products and services that we have. And check out my Bitcoin video. I got a Bitcoin music video that's dope. It's called, it's like Bitcoin Mania. Look up drjackson360 Bitcoin. You'll see the music video, drjackson360. So follow me, y'all, and make sure y'all subscribe and support all of the pages and other products I have. Thanks. I appreciate it, y'all. Much love.